What's up, good people?
Live. If you don't shut the fuck up and not interrupt the Osley brothers, you better let that guitar solo play out.
You know we already played 30 seconds.
I don't care. Play it.
What's up, good people? Live from the Touchdowns and Tangent studio at my house. It's Pete D, Camarillo.
Kenneth Barry here. Apparently, I'm the only one who actually respects the Osley brothers.
I actually listen to the Osley brothers more than you.
Here we fucking go. You just learned how to say antithesis 5 minutes ago.
Anyways, the point is...
Oh, fucking booger running ass person.
The point is, it's summer. So, shout out to all y'all living your best summer Fridays.
Shout out to Hoochie Daddy season. Y'all partake.
Shout out to the City Boys. Johnny Depp got a big W this week.
Huge W. He wanted 50. He only got 13.
With that, though, it's been a crazy week in the NFL. Some somber news to start off the show. But outside of that, how was your week been, Kenny?
Well, sister and nephew are coming back from Oakland next week. So this is like my last weekend of utter quiet and peace. But since I work all weekend, but I do finally have like a good gym routine, so I'm happy with that.
Wow. So your run of getting weekends off is over now, huh? You made the varsity squad now?
No, I'm going back to not working Saturdays, but they put me in like a Sunday morning shift, so I still have the rest of the day. Now I have an excuse to go work out and then go straight to the beach.
I feel like Sunday is still like busy though.
Sunday morning,
I feel like
it's like 11 to 3:30.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that could go either way.
It could, but I'm just like, people keep calling out, and I'm kind of just over it.
Being overworked? You're over being overworked?
I'm over people constantly calling out and just having to accept that, like, I'm just going to have more work to do. I'm just like, you know what? For the pay, this is cool, but it's the end of the year. Like 95% sure. I mean, you know, I've never not been able to find work.
It's amazing how much anxiety you have about finding work, but then you remember, like, I've never not worked.
Yeah. Like in the past, it's like I can't just quit and do nothing. And if we're about to hit a recession again, by the way, ice cream tubes are smaller, everybody. Now I know the world's comes in. Like, you know, you used to get the big ass jugs of ice cream? Bro, tell me why I went to fucking, it wasn't Target. No, it was
I feel like it was Ralph's or something.
Yeah, it was Ralph's. Walked into the Ralph's down the street from my house.
You can't say Ralph's, bro. There's a P. There's not a V.
Ralph's.
You're saying Ralph's.
Ralph. The P is silent. What the fuck are you talking about?
You're saying it with a V.
Ralph's.
There you go.
What did I say before?
You were saying Ralph's.
Ralph's?
It's Ralph's.
I emphasize the S. I emphasize the S at the end. I don't emphasize...
That's wrong. It's a PH. PH make up...
I said Ralph's. Ralph's.
Alf.
You can't... First off, you're... Okay, Floyd Mayweather Jr. You are not giving me enunciation advice, okay?
I'm just saying.
Just saying, you can't...
I'm just saying, sound it out.
You couldn't say antithesis. You literally couldn't say it. You're 30 and you've been saying antithesis wrong probably 90% of your life.
Antithesis.
No, you said like 3 words. Like, that shit went from being... You said it's not anti-life equation. You said like antithesis. Like it was 4 different fucking words. So
antithesis.
Antithesis.
I guess.
Antithesis. Say it in one fell swoop. Antithesis.
I guess. So you say this is?
What the What?
What do you call a topic sentence in your paragraph? A thesis?
What? A thesis?
Yeah, so why is it not antithesis?
What? That doesn't even make sense.
There's no hyphen?
It's one word.
Why would it not be antithesis?
Antithesis, because that's stupid and it makes no sense.
Antithesis.
It's like stopping twice at a red light. You wouldn't do that.
I still don't get it, but all right.
It's one word all the way through.
I got it.
It's not like you're saying codependent or co-opt, where there has to be a hyphen.
Triggered.
Yeah. Proper English language is kind of a trigger for me. Learn how to say words.
All right, so jumping into the NFL news.
I'm gonna come up with a list, like elementary school teachers do. Come up with. I'm sorry, your little brother had me laughing really hard with that.
Let's talk about it.
So, somber news started this week. Marion Barber, former Cowboys, Minnesota, great.
Minnesota Gopher, former Chicago Bear, but we don't talk about those days.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about those.
Just the Cowboys. He was a Pro Bowler, led the league in touchdowns one year.
Died at age 39.
That's 38.
38. Did they figure out why yet?
No, he was found unresponsive in his property.
Yeah,
he was going to be 39 on June 10th.
Yeah, from what I read, they hadn't determined what it was yet, but I'm not sure. A bunch of NFL players shouted him out. We're just like, yo, he was a legend. Like,
one of the hardest runners ever.
That's facts. I remember a few times he carried some dudes.
Ran through people's face. Like, he was like baby Marshawn Lynch. Like, he didn't have the breakaway speed. He wasn't necessarily slow, but he could have probably added years onto his career if he just learned to.
I was going to say he was a less versatile Steven Jackson.
That's close.
Somewhere in between.
A slower, almost as powerful Stephen Davis. Stephen Davis was a Pro Bowl running back.
I know Stephen Davis was a Pro Bowl, but I felt like he ran higher than Stephen Davis.
He ran
because Stephen Davis was like a little.
Davis had some wiggle to him.
Yeah, but he was like a little like stocky,
damn near
battering ram.
Who had home run speed?
Versus Barber and Jackson, I feel like are just like higher, more one cut kind of type of runners.
Barber's weird. Is like he would almost be perfect in today's league because nobody would really be able to tackle him. People couldn't really tackle him back then. But like he definitely is ripping off chunks, getting 4 yards a pop today, even though he was getting around 3 yards a pop back then. But they were like the hardest earned 3 yards. Like, he would break your defense. And then Julius Jones came in and kind of took...
the slasher.
Yeah.
Speed. Outside.
And a sharp choice.
Well, yeah, man. R.I.P. to him. Darius Slay, Melvin Ingram were a couple of guys who shouted him out and were like, yo, if you never seen... If you don't know who Marion Barber is, you should watch tape. Because he ran the ball proper. The NFL is losing too many legends.
And then also R&P, a 25-year-old former first-round pick, TCU corner, Jeff Gladney. He was cut by the Vikings. It turned out to be bogus domestic violence and sexual assault charges from an ex who was bitter, lied about being raped and some other things, and got cut from the Vikings and then was making a name for himself. Arizona Cardinals got in a car accident in Texas late at night. I think it was around 3 a.m. Rest in peace. That's about, 3-4 guys in the past couple months. Haskins, these two. We're not used to seeing guys, go this young under the age of 40. So.
Yeah, I guess Gladney and his girlfriend both died in a car accident. In the wee hours of the morning in Texas.
Damn.
26 and 25 years old.
Rest in peace.
Speeding and clipped a second vehicle from behind. Car lost control, struck a pier beam, and overturned in a grassy area.
Safe out there.
Pretty much. So I guess that means you'll have to stop slandering him.
Well, I stopped slandering him a while ago.
No, you slandered him like a month ago.
So
You
like
slandered him
3
like
weeks
on
ago.
the draft, around the draft time.
Yeah, because I don't.
You were
believe-
like,
I wouldn't take a
know why they
TCU
took
corner in the
Gladney.
first round. I wouldn't take a TCU corner in the first round ever.
I mean, people thought he was going to be good, minus the size and the injuries.
But he went to Minnesota.
And Minnesota loves undersized corners for whatever reason. But yeah, as you mentioned, he was trying to get it together with
Arizona, he looked like he was fitting in pretty good there. Him, Byron Murphy. I always forget their other corner. They were building something. It's just unfortunate he didn't get a chance to fully, have a turnaround. But
Jeff and Jalen Rieger said that was like his right hand man. So he's also going through it.
yeah. So that's how I found out is I saw his tweet first. I was like, damn. I was hoping it wasn't true.
Really got to stop slandering TCU players now for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm calling a truce. A ceasefire and a truce. Slandering any more TCU players for a couple of years.
On the other side,
Speaking of people who are now gone,
John Madden honored as the Madden 23 cover, just like the old days, the 90s to early 2000s. Madden embraced the cover of EA Sports' football game. He's now back on it. Shout out to the woman that I saw it from. She works for EA Sports now as in media relations, but she was a long time media relations with the Raiders and host of their shows when they were in Oakland and stuff like that. So she was really happy about it. But the crazy thing to me about that was looking at all the covers and realizing they low-key been trash. Like, low-key, the covers have been trash. Like, if I would have told you that has been no Raiders player on a Madden cover, like on an official Madden cover besides Madden,
Bo Jackson.
that's crazy.
I mean, well, Bo Jackson had his own game.
Yeah, but
That don't really count.
But on the other side, there's been 2 Lions on the cover and 2
Ndamukong too?
Titans.
Was Ndamukong on the cover?
No, they had Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders back to back.
Oh yeah. That's true.
And then they also had Vince
Young
Young
and
and
Chris
Eddie
Johnson.
George.
And Chris Johnson wasn't on the cover. I was thinking of alternate covers. That's why for different gaming consoles.
Yeah, I think
Could have sworn Chris Johnson was on a cover.
I think he might have been on ESPN football.
Nah, because ESPN football died out pretty quick.
Yeah, I
last
think
one
he was on the second cover.
ESPN 2K, the last one I remember was the
TO.
TO version. Which
The first one was Warren Sapp, I think.
it was actually a pretty decent game.
A lot of people like that game. I remember my friend Ryan got it. He got it because it was cheap, because it was like $20 compared to like $50 for Madden.
Yeah.
And we low-key thought it was going to be trash, but it was actually kind of fire. Like that first-person mode was like way ahead of its time.
And everybody loved the cheerleaders.
I personally hated that game because it was fucking easy to run the ball. Like if you knew how to do it, you had to like tap A and you could like break every single tackle. That shit was stupid. That shit used to make me mad, bro.
I mean, you still can't really run the ball now.
I ran the ball against you? What do you mean?
You had one broken play. Because I all out
Dog, I
blitzed.
don't want to talk about Madden. I've lost my last 2 games to motherfuckers who never even touched the sticks. And I got 21.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
That's when you just know you're not a competitive gamer.
But you
anymore.
21 me the first time you played too, and then I whooped your ass the next time.
And then I
whooped your ass again.
And then I beat you.
I don't think you've beaten me since that first time.
That's a lie. I've beaten you at least 5 times.
Yeah, in our entire existence of this show, sure.
That's closer to 10. It's been 5.
I've beaten you at least 25 then.
No, you have not been. It's probably like 15-8.
Your Honor, he's lying.
Nah, because like you remember I was getting off work and you were like, oh, I've been playing Madden every fucking day. I hadn't touched Madden in years. And then I started playing on fucking Xbox, which I don't have, and I just don't like the Xbox console in general. And yeah, you've beat me more on Xbox. Now, if we were playing PS3, PS2, PS4, PS5, it's a different fucking story.
It's literally the same game.
The controls are different.
You can literally play against each other.
The controls are different.
You can literally
the
play
touch is
against each other
different.
online.
It's different.
It's not.
It's different. It's different. You're not a PS2 guy. You're not a PlayStation guy. You don't get it.
It's not.
You don't get it.
But yeah, anyways, back to the man covers.
I just hope they actually have realistic speed ratings because it's starting to get bullshit. Like
the other thing that was crazy to me was that like Pat Mahomes has been on it twice, Brady's been on it twice.
Only twice? I feel like it's been like 4 times.
Nah, Brady's only been on it twice. There's been, let's see, 5 black quarterbacks?
Hell yeah.
Pandering.
McNabb deserved it. Vince Young deserved it. Vic deserved it.
And hella people that have been on it have fallen
Mahomes
off.
deserved it.
Dog, no one played the Drew Brees one. Man 11?
Nah.
I forgot that one existed.
Nah, I like that one. That's the last.
I forgot that
That's
one.
the last PS2.
I never played that one.
That shit was fire on
was
PS2.
horrible.
That shit was fire on PS2.
Yeah, I never played that one.
That shit was fire on PS2.
That joint Palomalu and Fitzgerald cover was ass. I hated that cover.
It was
Hillis. That whole shenanigans was ass.
Actually, no, that was the last PS2 game.
I know.
Was the Peyton Hillis?
I just
one.
wanted you to say it. Alexander fell off like 2 years after. Vince Young fell off like 2 years after.
Who fell off harder, Vince Young or Alex? Who fell off harder, Larry Johnson or Sean Alexander?
Sean Alexander.
Oh, Larry fell off hard, bro. He had like 456 carries. Had a couple good
Sean
years.
Alexander won MVP, and they got cut from like the Redskins like 2 years later.
Larry Johnson is now a DJ spouting out all types of wild shit on Twitter. At least Sean Alexander went away.
Shit.
And they were both first round picks.
What's wild is that I even had the game and I totally forgot that AB was on the cover, and I had Madden that year, and yeah, man, that shit was crazy because it was like the first time an athlete had their helmet off on the cover.
That's true. The hairstyle, the Gumby.
And then after that, Lamar had one with his helmet off. But yeah, man. Shout out to Madden.
Madden picks the right guys for the cover. They just need to stop picking Brady. Pick Aaron Rodgers.
Looking young and in his prime on the cover. Shout out to man.
They got to pick Jonathan Taylor to be
Peyton
on the
Manning's
cover.
never been on it. That's crazy.
Really?
And Aaron Rodgers, yeah.
Nah, Aaron Rodgers was on the cover.
Nah, he's never been on the cover.
Alternate cover?
Maybe, but he's not on the cover now.
Because I know he was like, after they won the Super Bowl, he was like the best QB on that game.
He's been the best QB on that game for a while, but he's never been on the cover. There's a lot of great players who've never been on the cover, who've been 99s.
Yeah. There's also a lot of dudes who got robbed of being a 99.
True.
I will say this, Carlos Dansby, he was never close to being a 99, but I definitely think he's a Hall of Fame linebacker. His stats are comparable to Ray Lewis and Brian Urlacher, if not better in some areas.
I'm excited for that Bandana Ray 30 for 30 coming out soon. A couple years.
Bandana Ray?
Yeah. They're doing a 30 for 30 on the 2000.
Oh, yeah. Need a 30 for 30.
Bandana Ray greater than Preacher Ray.
Nah. That was what, 260 Ray?
I'm talking about when he wore a
bandana which was around like 260.
I guess.
He was around 260. There was an era where he was 260. knocking people unconscious.
That's crazy to think he was 260,
And
running
dropped
a
down
4.3.
No. He was like
Loki's-
220. He was like 220, 230 running, not a 4.3. He ran maybe like 4.4, 4.5. He wasn't running a 4.3.
I thought he ran a 4.3 at the combine.
He did not. You can Google it. DJ Williams ran a 4.45. DJ Williams was like legit a monster. Like he would be like the prototype for like Miami linebackers.
Damn, he ran a 4.6?
Ray?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he ran faster than that.
No, he ran 4.6
Damn.
and was like 220 at Miami. And then he had to bulk up. And somehow he fucking managed to be playing at 260 pounds at middle linebacker. But he's so instinctive.
Shout out to that 37-yard, 40-yard dash at USC, giving Troy Polamalu a 4.33.
You're disrespectful. You're disrespectful. That's why nobody from UCLA has made it at corner or safety.
You really think Troy Polamalu ran a legit 4.33?
I would say a 4.35.
I don't know, man.
His instincts are so good that he just...
Yeah, I feel like that's more of what made up for his speed than pure
4.37.
speed.
I'd say, nah, there's some fast-ass Samoans and Tongans out here.
You think he's fast? You think he's faster?
4.37.
You think he's as fast as Sean Taylor?
Sean Taylor was fast as shit, too.
That's what I mean. You think he's as fast as him?
Nah, I think Sean Taylor was faster.
That's what I'm saying.
Sean Taylor was faster.
I think Brian Dawkins was faster.
Brian Dawkins legit ran like a 4.33.
Well, so did Polamalu.
No. Brian Dawkins was fast. Brian Dawkins was faster.
Yeah, I know.
He was like LaRon Landry fast.
Yeah, I know.
So that's what I'm saying. Polamalu was more like a 4.37.
I thought of him more as like a 4.43 guy.
I could believe that. On his best day, a 4.37.
Just want to click that button early for him. I think that's what it is. Like, oh, let me give him a nanosecond
Fine.
off.
I'll give him a 4.39. I'll give him a 4.39. Is that okay?
Dog, Urlacher ran a 4.6?
Yeah, but Urlacher played receiver and linebacker and safety
That's
at
wild.
New Mexico. And it's still...
Joe Flacco ran a 4.8?
Yes. Joe Flacco was fast enough. That's why he always had like a 70 speed rating.
I see him in a Derek Carr race.
Nah. This was surprisingly fast.
Who?
This one's going to blow your mind.
Who?
Fred Taylor. Ran a 4.28.
Here we go again, man. Here we go.
No,
again.
you saw that highlight I sent you. That was 4.28.
And he got hawked too in that one. He got hawked like twice.
I mean, that's 4.28, and the guy chasing him was fast as shit too. That's not fair.
Anyways,
Running backs, he said he never ran track or none of that shit. So, like, he had country fast. I think his first...
he had hill fast. Like running up hills fast.
Like, if he's running downhill, he's definitely unstoppably fast. Because how much force do you need to stop somebody running a 4.3 at 230 running through your face? That's like Marshawn Lynch only ran 0.4 of a second slower than Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson ran like a 4.4 flat. Marshawn ran a 4.44, but they always hold him on his speed rating in Madden, which is disrespectful. How you run a 4.4? No, I think he might have ran a 4.42.
Yeah, bro, but
4.46. Like
Marshawn's body was much different at Cal than it is like 2 years ago when he.
I ain't talking about the end of his career. I'm talking about even when he got to Seattle.
Even when he got to Seattle, his body was different. Like
he never lost that burst though, and he's actually really agile.
Oh yeah, he's definitely agile. No,
they just didn't get. They gave him like 83 agility on Madden, bro. I was like, this is bullshit. Like they didn't really respect. They never really showed respect to his speed outside of his rookie year. I think they had to give him like 92 agility, 92 speed, And then you see
If I
fucking
told you that
Adrian Peterson the next year gets 99 speed in Madden.
If I
Like,
told
what the
you
fuck?
that I always started Foster in NCAA, what would you think?
I think you're a fucking cheeser.
I mean, Forsett, sorry.
Forsett, I think you're a cheeser, and you probably only threw to Marvin Jones. Or you only threw deep routes to
Was it
Deshaun.
Deshaun? Yeah. I was going to say. Yeah,
He was on the team, too.
I ran. That's when
that play action flood.
That's when I first learned how to run like jet sweeps in NCAA.
Yeah, the speed sweeps.
That's when I first learned how it was Deshaun Jackson.
You would always move like Deshaun over to like the weak side of the field, let a tight end run an out route, let him run deep, and then let the other receiver run a fucking post because you know the safety has to pick either the post or the streak, and they have to honor the fucking out route for the tight end. Yeah, you were definitely a cheeser. Used to run Hail Marys and just change some of the routes, like 2 routes.
Adjacent, but I ran the ball a lot. That's why I use Forsett.
Yeah, did you used to create the playbooks?
Sometimes that was like when I was young, when I really had no time, when I really had time to kill.
I used Wisconsin's, and then I would just use nothing but
honestly,
5 wide spreads. That shit is so sick.
Honestly, like I feel like they still like that last NCAA. I think it was 2007. The last one that I think Andy was in. That was like the best they had the juking. Like I still don't feel like they've gotten juking as good as that. It's because like now they make the juke like everything, or it's like, oh, you push up and it trucks him. You push this and you spin. You push that and you like. That one was just like, okay, you push back, you back juke. Like you juke right, you push the stick to the right.
And if you actually press,
and it was like actually like realistic. Like they would really like jump stop and like
yeah.
So that shit was hard.
And L1, if you put like L1 and R1 at the same time, it was actually like a simultaneous like shimmy juke. You'll actually embarrass the safety, and then that's how you break off like a 70-yard run. Like even the funny thing about NCAA is even if you're a QB with like a speed rating of like 70, you could break a run. That's the funny thing about college. Like you can always break a run. Just because like at a certain point, yeah, the safety isn't going to do their job and the linebacker gets lost. Or your acceleration kicks in. That's the thing about like NCAA. It gets to a point where like your acceleration, they just stop counting it towards your ability. So you could literally like if you're a receiver, a running back, a tight end, or a QB, you could just have 99 acceleration, and 99 strength, and it wouldn't do shit. It wouldn't affect you. It wouldn't affect your rating at all. That's when I think it's fun because that's when I get offensive linemen and I make the whole team 70 overall and I just jack up everybody's speed and agility and just lower their awareness to fucking 40. That shit's fun. Do that in dynasty mode in like 3 years. Like
that's campy and cheesing. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I really no, like if I'm bored and I just need to take my
cheesing.
mind off some shit, I just like let me just fuck up the ratings. Let me fuck up how this game is supposed to be played and just do it wrong.
Now they have plenty of shit that does that for you in Madden.
Oh, you mean like just the game itself that you pay $80 for?
Well,
I like the old nostalgic games.
They have like weird events where you can like play giant players and you can play like mini players.
That's too much.
You can like
that's too much.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna make the whole team 7 feet tall, just do it.
They do. They have those modes.
But it's like, don't.
And they have modes where everyone's like 6 inches.
Yeah, it's like, I don't want to make that a niche thing. Like, if you're going to bring back the Sugar Buzz and those created teams like NFL Europe and shit, like, yeah, go for it. But, like, and the legendary teams, that was cool. That was a great feature in Madden that was really slept on. Those legendary teams, they didn't have, like, the names, but, like, you knew on the Niners, like, this is Roger Craig, that's Jay Rice, that's John Taylor. Like, Steve Young is the backup, and he's, like, 98 overall. Like, that was cool. Those are cool moments.
So they had to start paying people licensing. They're like, yeah.
We're going to stop doing this.
We'll just do the all-time teams.
Yeah. But even then, they kind of messed it up with the whatchamacallit, the Ultimate Teams, because like there shouldn't be like a 99 Joe Horn.
It shouldn't be a 99 Tyrone Calico.
There definitely should never be anything over 85 Tyrone Calico. Ever.
But there's probably some New Orleans fan out there who's fucking stoked to have a 99 Joe Horn. And you know what? For them, I'm happy. They can have their 99 Joe Horn.
Then what is Marcus Colston? That's what I'm saying. Like,
they have a 99 Marcus Colston. They have a tight end Marcus Colston.
That's cheating. But Marcus Colston was practically a big-ass tight end.
Yeah, they have a tight end position one. They have a DT Malcolm Butler at running back. Like 99.
Wait, what?
You know how Malcolm Butler played running back in college? The D tackle for the Saints and the Patriots.
Is Malcolm Jones? Or Malcolm
Butler. No,
that's two. You're conflating two names.
Yeah. What's his name?
There's Malcolm Jenkins.
Malcolm Brown.
There you go.
Malcolm Brown. There you go. Yeah, there's a running back version of him. Like, there's a bunch of like.
Yeah, see that
random at like. There's a 99 Julian Edelman at safety. Like,
yeah, see that's just not.
There's a 99 like Troy Brown at safety.
That's where you lose me. I mean, I'd say like an 85 corner Troy Brown. Troy Brown was actually kind of nice at corner. I think he went to the Pro Bowl as a corner one year, bro. He had like 4 picks.
I think he went as a specialist.
He had like 4 picks. The shit was ridiculous. Like Troy
He
Brown,
probably had 3 of them against whoever the Bills were trying out at quarterback at the time.
or the Colts.
Or the Jacksonville Jaguars or the Dolphins.
Probably the Bears.
Like, no, 3 of those teams didn't have quarterbacks for like 20 years.
That is very true.
Like, the Bills got the Patriots sloppy seconds of Drew Bledsoe and were like happy about it for 5 years.
Yeah, and then they
That's
thought
how bad their quarterbacks.
There's probably like a 95 Trent Edwards, and I'm not okay with that because he was never 90. He was 79 at best. There's a 90 Trent Edwards.
I don't think there is.
Shit, you haven't looked hard.
I think there's for sure like a 90-something Peerless Price.
That's fair.
I think there's also a 90-something.
There has to be like a 95 Eric Moulds, 98
Yeah, there
Eric
for
Moulds.
sure is, yeah.
Lee Evans, there's definitely like a 96 Lee Evans.
For sure, yeah.
He fell off hard. Did Lee Evans fall off harder? Because he dropped that catch that would have got him a Super Bowl.
That's why you don't go to the Ravens, bro.
I mean, he fell off hard, bro. Derek Mason's like the antithesis of like receivers falling off in Baltimore.
Kind of fell off in Baltimore.
He technically had some of his best years in Baltimore. He was a Pro Bowler. Yeah, him and Steve McNair.
I gotta fact check that.
He has like over 10,000 receiving yards in his career.
No, I know that, but I'm saying in Baltimore?
He had some Pro Bowl seasons in Baltimore.
I don't think he did, bro.
I think he went to Florida State too.
He did.
Which is like, yeah, they don't have many great receivers. And no, for anybody who's out there as a huge Florida State fan, don't give me Biletnikoff. They need to change. That should be the Michael Crabtree Award, first off. We can take the Biletnikoff. Like, we need to start updating some of these names.
Damn, I didn't realize he had 4,000-yard receiving seasons
in Baltimore.
5 in Baltimore.
Yup. Ricky Williams is pretty good in Baltimore, too.
I mean, that's the crazy thing that I think about. Like, when I think about the 90s, like, receivers, it's like there was a lot of them that, like, it's like now with the passing in the game, with the extra gains, it's like getting 1,000 yards isn't what it used to be. But at the same time, like, I think that also makes it harder because there's a lot more packages.
It's too easy to eliminate.
But then at the same time, it's like back then, you had guys that were like consistently getting over 1,000 yards because they were like the only good receiver on their team. So it's like, what's the context? I don't know. Like, it's something to think about.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, like, when I think about those, like, Derek Mason, Eric Moulds, Smith.
Keenan McCardell.
Keenan McCardell.
Lee Evans.
Rod Smith. Like, there's a bunch of, like, perennial 1,000-yard receivers who will probably never get to the Hall of Fame.
Wes Welker.
Hines Ward. But it's like, now...
Santana Moss.
1,000 yards is going to be worth even less. So it's like, maybe they should get in.
Exactly.
I don't know.
The same way Fred Taylor should get in.
Taylor should definitely get in.
He should have been in, honestly.
Yeah, Fred Taylor should definitely be in.
Fred Taylor should be in over...
Because he won, too.
Terrell Davis.
They won, too, when he was in Jacksonville.
It was an expansion franchise. Like, Terrell Davis, anywhere but Denver, is that really working out? Is he really getting 2,000 yards? People could say he would, but I'm like, if we're going to give you grace for having 2,000 yards and having that system and that team around you in Denver when everything was sweet, we have to give a guy like Edgerrin James and, Fred Taylor their due.
And the Titans really made the Super Bowl in their second year in Tennessee. That's crazy. That feels really rigged.
Kind of like now?
Basically. My random 12 a.m. conspiracy theory I texted Kenny. Really not that far out there.
At this point, and if the Raiders end up in the Super Bowl in 2 years, just going to sit up here and just be quiet about it.
All right. Other news from the week that the rest of sports media was talking about. Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. What's it called? The matchup?
Yeah. Capital One.
Yeah, presented by Capital One. Basically a celebrity golf tournament. But yeah, there's been all types of shit talk between all four of the quarterbacks. Mostly Tom Brady. Even in the pictures, man, it's funny because you see, like...
The memes are cold. He had...
You could
Lombardi's
tell...
on the golf balls. Yeah, Lombardi trophies on the golf balls.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, like Aaron Rodgers is such a great golfer. That's what happens when you go to OTAs.
Damn.
When you miss OTAs, I was like, oh, shit. Yeah, Capital One's the match.
The match. There you go. But yeah, the funny thing that I saw was when they posted that picture and Mahomes is looking all campy, fucking with his arms over one, and Josh Allen just looks happy to be there. Aaron Rodgers is just like, yeah, I'm fucking cool. And then Tom Brady's is just like cheesing, like, yeah, I don't really fuck with y'all, but I'm here. Like, and y'all can't do anything about it because I'm greater than all of you guys collectively. Like, in his golf cart, like all the other three were like team colored. You know, I think some of them had like a signature or logo, but Tom's was like a Patriots adjacent blue with like a Buccaneers adjacent red. So it looked like kind of a off Bills card, but it wasn't because it had a TB12 logo. Like, I was just like, man, Tom Brady really does not give a fuck. That shit's wild.
I respect it.
Like, damn. He's really out here just like, what are you guys going to do about that, Buccaneers? I don't have to put your logo on my shit.
You said I made you relevant.
But yeah, that was pretty much the biggest NFL social media / talk show fodder of the week.
Because they were throwing heavy jokes.
Honestly, can we be honest and just say it's probably better than the Pro Bowl?
Yeah, that one thing was better than the Pro Bowl. I didn't watch golf, bro. I was just there for the shit talking.
Yeah, they should probably just do something like that. Like, just have all the Pro Bowlers compete in adjacent stuff.
Tell you, dodgeball, hopscotch.
Till someone's Achilles tears in tennis.
Or dominoes.
And then it'll be over.
Nah,
How do you tear an Achilles in dominoes?
I mean, you get up from the table too hard, you smack those bones on the table too hard to get up in excitement. Slide out of your house shoe. You didn't stretch that morning.
We all got a uncle who's tore his Achilles playing bums before.
And you got a fucking lineman who's sitting in a picnic chair, folding chair they know they shouldn't be sitting in, that shit's going to go the way of the dinosaur. Ever seen an old person fall over in real time? It's just stages of horror.
I'd pay to see Vince Wilfork in his prime in a picnic chair, bro.
I want to see Hall of Famers versus Pro Bowlers. $1 idea.
How would that even work?
You get Hall of Fame players. Like, let's say whoever can compete can still compete. Have them versus current Pro Bowlers. Or you get guys from their school. Like, let's say all the guys who made the Pro Bowl, you find a guy from their school, and they have a rock, paper, scissors tournament.
Just spitballing here.
Or you have them play Madden. Have, let's say, Clinton Portis. I think he's not in jail. I hope not. So you have Clinton Portis. He's going 1-on-1 versus. See what Miami.
I mean, they've done stuff like that in esports. That's easy to do. They can do that whenever they want.
Yeah, just make it a part of Pro Bowl week. Or better yet, you got to play as your college team. Like have all the Pro Bowlers. They got to play. They got to use their college team to play against each other.
It's interesting, but I don't think it holds up for a whole week.
I mean, nah, you ain't.
It could be like a small little wrinkle.
No. I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm starting out as like, it's one lead, and like, okay, we're gonna have a tournament throughout the week, where guys you gotta pick the school and the year that you played at that school. So if you were like fucking 3-10, you gotta play that team versus, let's say, a dude who went to LSU when they won the national title. You gotta play against that team in Madden.
Yeah, they'd have to wait for the new NCAA game to drop for that.
No, they got to use all the old versions. They got to go back to the year they played, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't think that would happen.
They just pick a game. Like, pick the game, whoever came out the draft most recently. Boom, you got to use the last NCAA game.
You're just talking about some college hood booger shit now at this point.
I mean...
You're literally talking about...
Nobody cares about the game, so you might as well make it fun. Like... Make it a mental thing, like bragging rights. Like, okay, whoever's wins.
You're basically talking about some shit that college kids would do, like when they can't go home for winter break.
Yeah, that's the dopest part. That's what everybody misses about college. When you were trapped, but at least you were trapped in your dorm room. You didn't have to see anybody. And if you had a Brita filter, oh shit, never going outside.
All right, another update from the week. Jeudy, domestic violence charges were dropped. Just an update there. He was seen this week with Russ in Cortland Sutton uniform, OTAs.
Mm-hmm.
And moving on to college football news.
All right. So, first things first. Idaho State defensive back coach Devontae Neal was arrested on first-degree murder charges.
That's wild, bro.
Had a lockdown on somebody. Did a drive-by shooting on them. Got picked up in Idaho. I mean, that's where he's living. Anything ring a bell about that name for you?
Arizona.
He was a 5-star recruit who started at Notre Dame. And transferred to Arizona. Was their cornerbacks coach. School's definitely going to fire him, and he's pretty much done. It's over for him.
In Maricopa.
Yeah. Black in Idaho already is like.
Isn't Maricopa, California?
There's a Hollywood in Florida. So, there's a Hollywood in like 3 different states. I think there's a Hollywood in Mississippi too. So, places are places. Next, Ryan Day, Ohio State's head coach, he believes that maintaining rosters in their current state is going to cost about $13 million in NIL contracts.
Wow.
Boo fucking who? All these coaches making all this money. Guess what? There's only one team that wins the national title every year. That means the rest of you failed. So since you're failing at your job, how about you shut the fuck up and stop getting mad that now all these players who are more valuable than you, I mean, coaches coach, players play. And guess what? Last time I checked, great coaches produce great players no matter what the circumstances are. So how about you stop acting like little bitches and stop pocket watching your players?
I think the biggest thing here, for so long we've been sold and told about the narrative of, the student athlete and about how, as a college coach, you're still responsible for molding and grooming young men, helping them become adults and professionals, whether that's in football or life. And so rather than all these coaches bitching about the optics or leveling the playing field or, just straight out hating because they're not getting bread or getting prospects or winning, I think it'd be much better if these programs started teaching players what to do with that money and how to spend it and
Bingo.
teach them how to create businesses like now in college and create a startup ecosystem at these programs. Like
generational wealth.
Get these. Dog, there's 90 people on a roster in college and only 50 of them suit up? So this is a solid 40 players that are just like fucking around 2 days out of the week. Imagine what sort of businesses they could do. Imagine what sort of time they could create, even if they're just on meager couple of tens of thousands of dollars a year. Like they could easily reinvest that. Plus they're getting free room, free board, free education. Like,
and not everybody's making it big in NIL. There's some people who are charging like $20 for autographs.
Yeah, and
it's not acting like everybody's hitting it big. But guess what? If you're a top flight talent like Jordan Addison and you won a Blitnikoff and had 100 catches for 1,600 yards and like 17 touchdowns, hey, you're what the market requires.
What I'm saying, even like 7 years ago, even now, shit. But thinking about especially to 7 to 12 years ago, like when that financial aid hit, that 10K, that was the first time I ever seen 10K in my account. That's the first time I ever seen 5K in my account. Like, if I had known what to do with that back then, I'd be in a lot better situation now. But even so, like, now, if I could get an extra $10,000 or $20,000 to just be myself on top of the benefits I'm already getting as a professional, like, that would be a lot. So, like, for these college students, like, even if you're just getting $5,000 a year from a car dealership or a shoe deal or a glove deal, I don't know. But
wow, Boston came back and won game one.
That's fucking wild. No way.
120 to 108.
Damn, I was trying to put the game on, but my Wi-Fi connection is shitty.
Boston was down 92 to 78 with 6 seconds left in the third quarter. They won game one, 120 to 108.
Hell. So they won by 12? That's crazy. They shut down by Golden State. Golden State must have went cold.
They better stop fucking playing.
Damn. Now I'm mad I didn't get to watch the end. Fuck. But yeah, the point is, like, even if it's a little bit of bread as a college student, you could do a lot with that. Especially in that environment when everyone's young, everyone's willing to try shit, everyone's willing to help you out for free and do stuff. Like, these college programs could really be doing some great stuff even outside of the field by leaning into and teaching players how to use their name, image, and likeness rather than trying to fight the tides that are already coming. Like, imagine if you were a college coach and we're like, bro, like, even our 60 through 90 players are getting bread. Like, or, hey, like, we got this really dope accelerator program where like all of our players that are redshirted, like they're all formed an esports team and they're all getting money, like, or they're all, we're all like, we make all of our players in the off season like get together and like build a product or build like something or like create a little startup, like a little mini plan, or like there's so much shit that they could do. Like all those creative, young and hungry athletes, if they showed what to do and how to do, like give them resources and see what they can do rather than just hating on the fact that they're getting it on their own. Give them even more.
Yeah, I'm just not a big proponent of hating on young people when in a time. No, let me finish.
You're a hate on young people slowly growing.
Motherfucker, I'm young people.
Are you though?
A little bit.
Not really.
I mean, shut up. Even when I was young, I wasn't really young. But like, my point is, when the older generation wants to hate on young people, I have a problem with that because let's look at the economy and the state of the world. It's unsafe. Kids are getting killed in school every day. The adults failed. Like, the adults failed. We have to be honest about that. Young kids know that. They see it. And that's why there's a disconnect between our parents' generation and, let's say, our younger siblings. Like, we can still connect to our parents and grandparents to an extent because we understand. And we're, like, pretty much the wedge. We're stuck in between three different generations, if we're really being honest. Because we're the last generation to not have social media and still know how to operate and deal with people outside. Like, you're going to hate on people who, if they're lucky enough to make it through high school and not be in a school shooting, like, we applaud that.
Don't get me started on that.
Like, shit's is worse than it has ever been economically. Like, your money's pretty much useless. Gas is about $10 a gallon. Let's be real.
Okay, you're exaggerating a little.
$8 in LA. $8 in LA is like $15 in fucking Tennessee. Like, if we really talk about the economic impact of having to fill your car up, and God forbid if you live anywhere in East LA, anywhere near the fucking the Beverly Center, anywhere near that general area, you're paying about $9 worth of tank. And don't fuck up and be living in the valley and working in the inner city and then getting stuck in traffic and then being a young millennial and having to have all the experience and the talent, but also get victimized and probably run through the ringer and shit on at your job. And then when you're young and you're supposed to be trying to either build wealth or save so you can have some wealth so you might be living comfortably when you're 40, but you're looking around and the fucking value of $1 is nothing. People are talking about alternative currencies and you're over here just trying to make it through college and your degree might not mean shit in 5 years depending on what you major in. And God forbid if you get too many injuries and you don't make it pro, you're going to sit up here and shit on people who this is their only time in life to literally have access to generational wealth in the next 3 to 4 years. Like right now, this is like their highest earning potential based off what they could be in real time. Because once they graduate, nobody gives a shit about them. You'll be playing in the USFL somewhere, and only local people or committed, dedicated journalists will remember your name. Nah. Get all the money you can, because these coaches have no problem, like Nick Saban, where the boosters pretty much built him his own fucking house, his own everything in Alabama. He don't pay for anything. He's a state employee, and he has anything and everything he could ever want. He could literally never leave Alabama, and he would be fine. So, the way I see it, especially Ryan Day, all this NFL talent you're pumping out because kids are choosing to come to Ohio State to join a legacy of great players. Not just to coach Ryan Day. maybe you should be a little bit more considerate, seeing as how you just had 2 receivers go in the first round. Chris Olave helped you win games. He could have left last year. He could have left before the pandemic. So when coaches do their little punk ass high horse about what players should and shouldn't be making, it's like, okay, then how much should you be making as the coach? You don't actually make any plays on the field. We can get anybody to coach at Ohio State. What makes you special? You can't go to the NFL right now and coach. You be a positional coach. You might not even work in the NFL. So if you can't compete at the highest level, but the kids you're coaching and are you're using them as the lifeblood of the program to build yourself up some success, but now you have a problem with them looking out and doing what's best for them financially. Hey, if you go somewhere to get a huge bag out of NIL and your college career is the shits and you don't pan out, at least you got some generational wealth. Hopefully you're smart enough to do something with it and you got people around you that'll tell you or show you how you can. Hopefully you have a group of people that you can put your heads together and make this money last. So when you're 40 and 50,
well, it was funny because I
fucked up out here.
I saw like a local news spot on it, and they were kind of talking about whatever player had signed a deal, and the anchor was just like, "That's a lot. Like, that's a lot of money. Like, just like, I don't think they're ready. Like, they're not ready for that kind of money. Like, they're not even gonna know what to do with that." And it's like,
well, what would you do with it? I would ask that journalist, what would you do with that money? Because we know you ain't making that much money.
but what I'm saying is, it's probably true. But what I'm saying is, well, then reach out to that person and help them. Like, not in a hey, I need 10% or I'm trying to get you to invest in my shit kind of way, but just like, hey man, like if you ever need some tips on cash flow or reserves or liquidity, or you just want some stock picks or whatever, like you don't know how startup is, or you need help with their taxes. Yeah, there's so much around the world of money, and the more you know, the more you see, but you don't even know what you're missing until it's already gone.
And that's my issue. If more people actually mentor the young instead of judging them and kicking them back in, maybe the world would be a better place than what it is right now. But it's not. And I can't blame young people. I can't blame anybody under the age of 35 for how the world is right now.
I think it's
when they didn't make it that way.
I think it's both sides, though, too, because the other issue is, and I think that's really what the reporters said, too, is just like, we also live in a generation where it's like, they want everything right now. And that's because
can have everything right now.
Yeah, and that's because that's the way the world works. Like, you can have literally anything you want on your phone at the touch. You don't need to even leave your house now. Like, period. You could literally just be a recluse and not really be a recluse.
And a lot of people are. A lot of people. There's chicks making a lot of money on OnlyFans. They might be a barista. You don't even know. You wouldn't even know.
Well, yeah, man. So I don't know. I think it's two sides of a different story, because I feel like also, sometimes it is good that it's good that things were slower. Like, we got to understand the concept of time and got to more live and appreciate the moment rather than always looking for what's next, which is kind of what this generation is blessed and cursed with.
But I'm saying they didn't choose it. They were born into it. We didn't choose our fate either. But if somebody had told you, you don't really have to go to college.
Well, it's like we didn't choose to be fat, but our mothers didn't eat good and didn't feed us good. So it's like...
And now milk is
And now we still make the same decision. So it's like, well, yeah, it's not all our fault, but it's also...
Oh, yeah, no, totally. Yeah, like, there's accountability, but I'm saying, if you're born into a fucked up family, I can't blame you if you turned out fucked up to an extent. I can hold you accountable going forward, but if I don't have an apparatus of protection around you, I'm trying to raise you on old standards that don't work anymore. Whose fault is that? The teacher or the student?
What I explain to my siblings is like, I'm like, think about it, like when you're like when our mother was our age, like yeah, like there were people that were probably her age and were rich, but most of them inherited it. Like there was not an example of like a rich overnight sort of situation before you're kind of 20. I'm like, now there's plenty of examples of that. There's YouTubers, there's influencers, there's
Video game players.
video game players, there's, entrepreneurs like the kid who made Goat. Like there's people with businesses that $1 million businesses at 20, 19, and 20 years old. Like there is a roadmap. And that's great because it's like it's there. You can see it. You can touch it. You can figure it out. You just have to figure out your path and where you kind of fall into that. But because of that, it's like a double-edged sword. It's like, yeah, it's there, but that also makes it a little bit more overwhelming to like
pick something and stick to it and not feel like you're failing.
Exactly, yeah.
That's why I don't fault these cats for getting all this money. So these kids who most of them, especially talking NIL, and the big money is coming from basketball and football, predominantly black sports. Even just with like hell, it's those two white girls who were at Fresno State and they transferred, they're making more NIL money than anybody. Female athletes are making a shit ton of bread because they have the OnlyFans option, but they also have just the marketing option, the modeling option. So you're going to tell them to wait till they're 40? But society tells women that they fucking fall off a cliff at 30? So you're just going to be a hypocrite and tell them, no, you shouldn't make this money. You don't have the right to do this. You need to do what I did. You need to just go the traditional route. So you want them to be broke.
Basically.
You want them to be indentured. You want them to be in debt. You want them to do some shit that clearly didn't work for you because you're working every day till you die. It clearly didn't work out for you. So you want the next generation to repeat your mistakes. Like, I'm pretty sure if we could go back 10 years, we would do some shit differently with our lives. Straight up. Like, I would have definitely invested in Netflix and a bunch of other shit. As an 8-year-old in high school. I'd have found a way. I'd have put some money into places and just let that shit sit. If I just had the patience. But now that I have the patience and the maturity, I'm older, I don't have the time necessarily. So it's like they say youth is wasted on the young. Well, that's why older people should, kind of push you in a direction to either protect you from yourself or help say, okay, I want you to be better than me. I want you to have even more options than me. But I think there's a collective consciousness, at least in the Western world, where older people really don't want younger people to do better than them. It's the what's that Greek dude the Kronos effect, where Kronos wanted to kill Zeus and Hades and shit. Like the father wants to consume the power of the sons because they have more potential. Like we're really dealing with that in real time. And until I think more people are honest about that shit, like you should want the next generation to be better than you. I'm pretty sure modern day athletes, let's say basketball players, think about Kemba Walker, think about Shabazz Napier, which nobody talks about him anymore. Pretty sure they're like, I didn't go to bed hungry at night. Shabazz Napier won a national title for his school and went to bed hungry. Couldn't get fucking free food. I can get free food and get sponsored for the free food, feed all my teammates, and get a fucking sponsorship from like a car dealership. So we all got whips. We all could, we could get sponsored by Uber or whatever. We could get sponsored by whoever. Flip that, turn it into a business, We could feed everybody. We could change the complexion of our neighborhood if we wanted to go back and do it. We could we can get real estate degrees or licenses and degrees, and by the time we graduate with football, we can go do some shit that Brandon Marshall did and start I Am Athlete. We could start our own gym, daycare center, fucking rehab clinic. Oh, my mom did drugs when she was a kid? Well, cool. We got a methadone clinic. Whatever. You can go do whatever. You just need the real estate and the know-how. And I think more and more young people are getting to it because it's like, well, the hard work, the heavy lifting was done before us. So why would we keep doing more heavy lifting when we could just get straight to the ideas and the executing of shit? And I think our generation as millennials, especially 90s babies, we're like Obi-Wan, and then down the line, there's Luke. Like, we can't be Luke. We're from a different time period. But we're still happy that Luke found some happiness later in life and got his shit off. So I think that's how coaches should treat these athletes with NIL. Hell, I would be like, man, you see how much my star quarterback got NIL? You better come to Ohio State and quit playing. Oh, you don't want your family to be broke no more? Cool. We got financial investors. We got tax guys. We'll make sure you only get to spend 10% of your money a month. The rest of it goes into a trust or Roth IRA or whatever the fuck you want to put it in. That's the thing. The business of college sports isn't to better the athletes. It's to pimp and hoe them. It's pretty much another form of slavery. So now that there's a slave revolt and everybody's realizing in the pecking order who matters and who really doesn't, the players are the capital. They're the players are the economy. Everything else is just bells and whistles. So, that's just my take on it. I know we kind of went long with college football, but
You went long on it. I was listening for like 7 minutes.
yeah, shout out to Memphis Spence because he's been talking about this for a while too. But I'm just like, even when we were in college at CSUN, you're like, yo, athletes should get paid. And you're like, no, they shouldn't. Like, they should. Yeah, but we don't get paid. I was like, yeah, because we're not athletes. Now, if you want to say student journalists should get paid for the work they do and be respected for the work they do, that's a whole nother podcast. And that's about 3 to 4 hours of trauma bonding in our group chat that we could talk about. But again, that's a whole nother issue. We can get about 10, 15, 20 people to talk about that shit. But when it comes to athletes and just their ability to make money, stop hating on them.
All right, next up, Frank Gore retired with the 49ers after 17 season. He was out last year, but he's the third all-time leading rusher in NFL history. Take or tangent on that, Kenny.
Hall of Famer. I would say first ballot. Third all-time rushing, you have to be first ballot Hall of Famer.
Especially in this era.
16,000 rush yards.
We might not see another running back with that sort of longevity.
16,000 rush yards, 16 seasons. He had a 1,000-yard rushing season with the Colts. He could have still kept playing. That's how good he was. Team still wanted him. He just said, I'm going to go do boxing.
Deron Williams.
I mean, to be fair, Deron Williams cheated. He'd have been disqualified in a real boxing match because he pretty much judo flipped him. Like, that was some bullshit. That's not a boxing move, what he did.
That's a light-skinned street dude move.
Yeah. We all know basketball players can't fight. Basketball players cannot fight. They don't want to break their hand. They got to shoot jumpers. Football players, we'll take that shit to the ground. You might get bit. The wrong football player, he might mount you and just bite the shit out of you while he's punching you and kicking you in the face. You don't know what a football player is capable of. All we do is lift weights and just get angry.
All right, next up.
Quarterback. I would take a quarterback over most basketball players.
Ryan Fitzgerald retires after 17 years.
Fitzpatrick?
Fitzpatrick retires after 17 years. This is like his third season retiring in the offseason and then coming back. And also, rumors say he might be joining Amazon Prime's broadcasting for a big-ass bag. So TakeOrTangent on Fitzmagic riding off into the sunset once again.
I mean, talk about a Hall of Fame career for the everyday player. He's not a Hall of Fame player by any stretch of the imagination. But if you're a player...
But he's a Hall of Joes.
Yeah. He's the king of the average Joes. And he went to Harvard. He's Mormon. Shit ton of kids. Great beard. Party animal.
Boutique.
Did not know that.
As is Aaron Rodgers.
Wow. Well, there you go.
Next up.
A win is a win.
Stephon Tuitt retires from the Steelers after 8 years.
Couple Pro Bowls.
Former Notre Dame great. TakeOrTangent.
Defensive end, yeah, he got retired because his brother died, and he got his degree from Notre Dame, and he just feels like...
Didn't his brother play, too?
I think so. He just felt like he needed to go into the next chapter, so salute to him. Prayers up for him and his family. You know, losing a loved one. It's never easy. Especially a brother, a sibling. Like, that sticks with you forever.
Definitely. And I think the other part of it, too, is he's not going to be missing much for the Steelers. I don't know how good they're going to be, so might as well
They have
move
a
on.
great defense.
Might as well move on.
But there's guys out there they can plug and replace him. So Sue might go to the Steelers. Shit. I don't think they got the money for him, though.
And again, on the retirement front, Alex Mack retires after 13 years. Spent the last year with the 49ers. Prior to that, he's had some time in Jacksonville, Atlanta, and Cleveland. One of the best centers in the league for a good chunk of his 13 years in the league.
He went to Jacksonville?
Wasn't he in Jacksonville?
No, he wasn't.
Oh, no,
he was in Cleveland for 7 years.
He got an offer from Jacksonville and ended up in Cleveland. That's what it was.
No, he got drafted by Cleveland. He was the 21st overall pick. Went to the Browns, was there for 7 years, then went to the Falcons for like 5 years. He was in the Super Bowl.
He got that restricted free agency offer, and they matched it.
Yeah, and then he went to the Niners when they made the NFC title game, and he didn't get a chance to get back to the Super Bowl. But 13 years, 7 Pro Bowls, arguably a Hall of Fame center. Yeah, 7-time Pro Bowler in 13 years, and he only missed, like, I think 2 games in some seasons. I mean, there's times he got injured, but, like, I would call that a Hall of Fame career for Alex Mack. Is he better than Nick Mangold?
Was he better? Yeah. No.
Look up Nick Mangold stats. Nick Mangold
was nice, bro.
Definitely a Hall of Famer.
He was on those 3
All-Pro
Jets NFC title games.
He was nice before that. Him and Brickashaw Ferguson.
Wasn't his sister like a power lifter?
Sister is a power lifter.
Still?
Still strong as fuck. I follow her
Damn,
on
bro.
IG.
That's like 20 years.
She's like huge. She's a massive human being. And just freakishly strong.
Think she's stronger than Nick? Don't they have another?
She's definitely stronger than Nick.
They have another brother that plays too, somewhere.
But yeah.
But yeah, Mac signed a 4-year deal with the Jaguars, I think, in his 4th year.
You mean?
No, bro. Just listen to me.
I just don't want to believe he signed with the Jags.
He did. He signed a restricted free agency deal, 4 years, $42 million.
And Atlanta matched it.
He was ready to be a Jaguar, and then the Browns matched it.
Oh, well, okay then. So then he was never a Jag.
He was a Jaguar for like 2 days.
That's still not as long as Randy Moss.
All right, next up we got touchdown or turnover. As soon as I find the drop.
So many retirements this week.
I know, it's crazy. But hey, man, it's the start of the officially the start of the new year. A bunch of teams got some cap space too.
The Raiders to get a certain
OTAs,
defensive end who went to USC.
new logos. Everson Griffin?
No, I think he's done in the league. Mental health issues too. But I say the person's name because every time we say either us or Unfiltered Truth, we say a player that we want the Raiders to get, they end up on somewhere else. So I feel like, should I even say the name at this point?
Already said it like 3 times.
Did I?
Talking about Donnell Hunter?
Danielle Hunter?
Danielle Hunter.
No.
Todd Bard?
No, but that'd be nice. They need a pass rusher, and he's pretty. He can't be as bad as in coverage as the other guys. And if Diablo gets hurt, you don't have anybody else who's like Diablo on your roster. And I'm not really a fan of using Abrams as a linebacker.
I would like to see Todd Bard in the Kyle Van Noy role, like as a third pass rusher, slide Max Crosby inside, and then also you can use him as a run stuffer at Sam or Mike.
I would slide Chandler Jones inside. Max Crosby on the outside, and I would let them stunt though.
Nah, I'd keep Jones on the outside.
He plays the 4-3 defensive end too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would just keep him on the edge. I don't think you need to slide him inside. He's good at it.
But I would have a NASCAR package, but I would personally go out and throw money.
But I mean, Barr's never really been a true stand-up end. So
he was a linebacker edge rusher. And even at UCLA, when they switched, when Jim Moore Jr. switched him from H-back /
they've always
tight end
used him as like a blitzer,
linebacker.
as like a blitzer. Like I think they tried to use him as a Leo one year, but he's primarily been like more of a true linebacker.
He was an edge rusher at UCLA. That was the last time, and he had like 12 and a half sacks and ended Matt Barkley's career. But that's it. I never forget that shit. But yeah.
So who's the player you want the Raiders to get?
I really want them to get Rasheem Green.
He was on the Vikings?
No, he was on the Seahawks.
He's a free agent?
Yes.
Really?
Dirt cheap. You can get him for you can throw $20 million at him and get him. I believe it.
He's on the Seahawks, bro.
Nah, I don't think he resigned.
He's on the Texans.
He signed with the Texans?
Yeah, he signed with the Texans.
What the fuck? For how much money? Ugh. I mean, he's definitely gonna get hella pass rushing snaps. I was gonna use him as a 3 technique. He'd be right next to Crosby, and I'm like, well, you got to block one of them. Good luck, because you're not blocking both.
Yeah, he's with the Texans now.
That's disgusting. I'm disgusted, but he probably got a bag. There's no way he didn't get a bag.
Shout out to Sarah.
Fuck. This is what I'm saying. Like, every time I want a guy to go somewhere, man, Raiders should have doing their hat for him. I'm sorry. I'm not sold on the 8 defensive tackles they have.
Well, they don't have any pass rushing ones, really. They're all run stuffers.
They don't have any
one.
Sacks.
They don't have any sacks.
Rasheem Green.
They're basically going to be banking on Cleveland Farrell and Malcolm Butler to be their pass rushing 5 techniques.
Matthew Butler?
Malcolm Butler.
The Tennessee Titans. Malcolm Butler.
The Tennessee Vols.
Matthew Butler.
It's Matthew Butler?
You don't get nobody's name.
Damn, I definitely got a GFE.
Who is this mythical person?
It is Matthew Butler. Damn, I definitely got a couple
This fucking
GFEs
chimera you keep speaking of.
I've definitely called him Malcolm Butler in the article.
The corner Malcolm Butler? West Alabama went to the same school Seth Roberts.
Matthew, Malcolm, Matt, Michael, they're all the same.
That's racist and insensitive.
Is that racist? How is that racist? They could be a white or a black.
Name a white dude named Malcolm.
Malcolm in the Middle?
That don't fucking count. That's a fictional character on one of the greatest shows of all time. Even then, his real name is Freddie Munoz. Try again. Name somebody named. And I think Malcolm Gladwell is black too. He's just light skinned. Now, if you're going to say Martin, I'll give you a pass because Martin, you can say Martin. Like, that could be, Martin could be anything.
Malcolm McLaurin, white.
Who the fuck is that?
Was an English visual arts performer, musician, clothes designer, and boutique owner.
No, who knows who that is?
Malcolm Bilson.
Again,
American pianist and musicologist specializing in 18th and 19th century. Malcolm
when black
Frazier.
people were in chains? Okay.
No, these are all... Both these people have been alive.
You said 18th and 19th century. What was going on during the 18th and 19th century?
Like, that's what he specializes in playing. That's what he plays.
Oh, okay. Yeah, again, you named 3 people.
Teaches at Cornell.
Yeah, because
Malcolm Frazier.
Wait, Cornell in the Midwest or Cornell
Not sure.
in New York?
Malcolm Gibbs.
Open your case.
Malcolm Martineau. All these Malcolms are white as hell, bro.
And you don't know any of them. The only Malcolm you know are all black. Malcolm Jenkins. Malcolm Butler. Malcolm Brown. Damn it, you had me doing it. It's Matthew Butler. But yeah, all the Malcolms you can think of are black and play sports.
Malcolm III of Scotland.
Malcolm X. Malcolm and Eddie, the TV show.
I'm telling you, there's like, in this list of most famous people named Malcolm, there's only one black person, and it's Malcolm X.
And I'm asking you, did you know who those people were before you Googled it?
Malcolm Jamal Warner. There's
Thank you. It's from Malcolm and Eddie.
Number 23 on the list.
And I'm that just like
Malcolm
Jordan.
David Kelly, number 26.
That's the dude from the X-Files, right? Scully.
Malcolm Smith is on here at 27.
The football player from Dominguez?
No, he's
USC?
a politician.
All right, well, Malcolm Bivens, the former WWE announcer.
Malcolm Jenkins is 29. Malcolm Gladwell is 31.
Told you. By the way, Malcolm Jenkins finally put in his retirement paperwork today, too.
Malcolm Glazer. Businessman and sports teams owner.
That's what I'm saying. Most of the Malcolms you know are fucking athletes.
No, he's
Or in
white.
sports. Yeah, but most white people aren't named Malcolm. Malcolm is a black name. It's a black
It's not a
name.
black name, bro. I'm telling you.
Malcolm is a black name.
Out of these 70 names on here,
Google a white dude named DeAndre.
probably 10 people. There's probably 10 black people.
Right. Point to that is culturally, you can name more black people named Malcolm than you can white people. That's my point.
I guess.
You can,
All
I
right.
can. There's a white dude named Jerome out there, but the first 5 Jeromes in my head are all black. Bettis, McDougal. I already said Bettis, but yeah. Is it Jeremy McDougal or Jerome McDougal? Bottom line is, I really wish the Raiders would have threw more money at Rasheem Green. Because, well, we'll see if they get any interior pressure this season with 8 defensive tackles on their roster. 4 of them have to work. Anyway, yeah, next up.
Next up, the Bucs signed Akeem Hicks to a 1-year, $10 million contract. Rumors are he's going to replace Ndamukong Suh. Touchdown and turnover for the Bucs.
Touchdown, because he can also play some nose, too. So Vita Vea doesn't always have to play nose. And they drafted Logan Hall.
I mean, that's what Suh did, but okay.
Well, I mean, they're versatile, so. He's not as good as Suh, but he has been a Pro Bowler. So if Vita Vea and Akeem Hicks can kind of switch up, and Logan Hall is going to be obviously the 5 technique. That's a 2nd-round pick. I mean, that's a win. Especially if Suh wants more than $10 million.
Yeah, I think he's probably the best 5 technique that was left. I mean, the other one
He was actually a nose, but like
I thought
He could-
Eddie Goldman was the nose.
Eddie Goldman was the nose, but when he got hurt, it was Hicks, and then Hicks bumped out to 5 technique.
Which, by the way, I'm surprised nobody signed Eddie Goldman.
There's only so many. There's a nose tackle born every day.
And they fall off faster than they heat up.
But their emergence lasts longer than someone who's like in their prime and you have to pay them.
Something like that.
Like, think about all the dudes who could play nose tackle who came out this draft. Think about the undrafted free agents who could play. It's really a bad time to be a nose tackle exclusively. Because like 10 years ago, you'd always get work. John Rodgers, hell, Henderson kept getting work to the very end. John Henderson. Infamous, you slapped like a bitch guy. But yeah, what's next?
Darren Waller drops music video for his song All Things, touchdown or turnover.
I said it's a touchdown. I heard some of it. It's dope. This is some Christian values. Good for him. It's good for him. I mean, I'm not really going to give it another replay. I know it's probably Derek Carr's favorite song. I'm surprised Derek Carr didn't have a verse on that shit. I'm surprised him and David Carr didn't like help like with the reverb or post production or just lay some bonus tracks that never got put down.
All right, Pepsi no longer doing the Super Bowl halftime show. Touchdown or turnover? I'll say it's a touchdown. Nobody drinks Pepsi.
Well, don't be disrespectful.
You're not really going to sit here and tell me that Pepsi's better than Coke. I don't sincerely believe that.
We're talking all the
I'm going to give you some
subsidiaries.
fucking Sierra Mist right now. If you continue on this path.
I'll drink some Sierra Mist.
Yeah, drink it.
I won't drink
But
yak
will you
piss.
like it?
Mountain Dew is yak piss.
Sierra
Isn't
Mist,
that the Coke
Sierra
family?
Mist is just fucking Slice rebranded, bro. Shout out to Slice, wherever the fuck you are.
Remember Fruitopia? I miss Fruitopia. You got to go to Canada.
They don't have that anymore?
No, it's not in the country anymore. You got to go to Canada to get that shit.
Interesting.
Calypso's fire, though.
I don't drink soda like that. I don't think most people do.
Not anymore, but like, I think the fruit juices, yeah, Calypso's that shit. But honestly, I like vegetable juice and fruit juice now, or blended stuff. Smoothies.
Such a loser. All right.
Wow. Trying not to die, man. Now that I've hit 30, I can't really handle milk anymore either. It's fucking weird.
Says the man who will chase a ice cream with a shake and then tell me that they're two different things. And they're not both dessert. One is a beverage.
You can't chase dessert with dessert. It's
One is a
impossible.
beverage, and the other one's a
Dessert
dessert.
You can't chase dessert with dessert.
Borderline
It's just
entree.
It's just a big ass
If you put enough
dessert.
shit on your ice cream, it's an entree.
I mean, depending on what place you go to, yeah.
All right. Next up, Falcons are bringing back the red helmets. Touchdown and turnover.
I mean, you got to get something.
Honestly, I think that shit's hard. I'm gonna say it's a touchdown.
I mean, their unis will be hard, but will their play be good?
We'll see. Gotta have something to get the city there, I guess.
Hey,
Can't be losing the red helmets though. Don't come out and lose in the red helmets. Don't get your cheeks clapped by Sam Darnold in the red helmets. That's all I gotta say.
you snot box rocked.
Yeah, whatever, man. Next up,
The Falcons be changing their uniforms too much.
they do,
You gotta stop.
Their uniforms are never bad. Like,
Yeah,
like
you're not,
you
it's
guys
like Oregon.
always have like the best uniforms already. Like,
It's like Oregon. Like, stop changing all your fucking uniforms. I liked your last iteration. I miss your old ones. Your old Oregon ones. The all green that was like fucking.
Joey Harrington Johns.
Nah, the AJ Tuatelli Oregon jerseys. The Jonathan Stewart jerseys. Them shits were sick.
That with Michael James.
That too. But don't sleep on don't disrespect the greatness that was Jonathan Stewart.
Yeah, he got those other two bread.
They had the Dennis Dixon jerseys, bro.
Bro,
That
I
was
remember
an era.
everybody loved Derek Dixon.
That was an era. Had he not torn his ACL, they probably go to the national title game.
Wait, could Dixon be your QB coach?
Dennis Dixon could definitely be a QB coach.
Could Pat White be your QB coach?
I think he already is somewhere.
Yeah, I think he is a QB coach somewhere.
He's definitely a offensive coach somewhere. If not receivers or running backs. He was an OC at a college.
I remember motherfuckers used to bang the table for Pat White.
In college and NFL?
In college.
Yeah, you had to.
Like, people would really get mad.
You had to bang the table for Pat White. He led the way for this new generation. He's what Marcus Vick should have been. Yeah. White is what Marcus
Vick was nice until he
was a fucking idiot. He was a fucking idiot.
And what else
he had more
he do?
talent than his brother. That's what people forget. And Mike even said that shit. He's a better passer than me. Not as fast, but definitely a better passer.
And he was better in the pocket.
With 4.4 speed.
He was like a faster, stronger arm Tyrod Taylor.
Shout out to Tyrod Taylor. Now you understand why I root so hard for Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor is what Michael Vick wishes he would have dedicated himself as a quarterback. Like if Tyrod Taylor...
Hey, Michael Vick just slang that thing like that Nike commercial in real life again at 40-something. So
yeah.
Don't be disrespectful.
I'm not being disrespectful.
I always thought that commercial was fake. I didn't know that shit was real.
Who's the best Virginia Tech quarterback of all time? Michael Vick's stats are kind of...
Logan Thomas?
I'll fucking stab you in the chest. Bitch, he's a tight end. He was a tight end on NCAA. You had to switch him to QB to get with the times. Can't believe you just said that stupid shit. Logan Thomas. You fucking idiot.
You get mad when I say some troll shit that you would have said if I would have asked the question.
Yeah, Cardell Jones, Logan Thomas. Next, this motherfucker gonna be like, hey, you know what? Reggie McNeil was nice as fuck at Texas A&M. Jerron Johnson.
I was gonna say that.
Jerron Johnson could be a QB coach.
Yeah, he should.
Reggie McNeil.
He's been in 40 QB rooms.
Jerron
like
Johnson?
10 seasons.
Jerron Johnson?
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like it.
All
Shout
right.
out to Reggie McNeil, whatever he's doing. He was around the same time as Vince Young, but he got no love for rushing for 1,000 yards damn near.
Jay Ajayi settled his
Injury settlement?
Honestly. Got like $6 million or something like that. Touchdown or turnover for Jay.
I'm always rooting for the greatest running back in an individual season in Boise State history. Jay Ajayi was unstoppable. He was just in the wrong era of Boise State.
And he was a Brit.
Yeah. He's from London.
Never should have went to Miami.
Never should have went to Miami.
But yeah,
could have went to Green Bay.
And he already started his second career as an esports player, professional. So good for him. Yeah, I'm happy.
Boise State running backs who are
he's still kind of young too. I think he's under 30.
Yeah, he got hurt in his rookie deal.
Yeah,
it's like third or fourth year.
All right, and then the Washington, soon to be Virginia commies
are building a slave plantation.
Are planning, or I forgot. I don't know if they're planning to.
They want a stadium that's 50,000.
Yep, they want a smaller stadium. It would be like essentially the smallest stadium in the league. So touchdown or turnover if the commies actually build that.
No, they should not be allowed to build a printing press.
Yeah,
They shouldn't be allowed to do it.
Basically,
Fix the current stadium that has 91,000 fucking people, possibly. Guess what? If the Patriots had a 91,000 seat stadium, I guarantee you they're selling that shit out. Be better as an organization. Fix the stadium you have.
I think the other thing is,
And
I brought this up, is like the Raiders stadium. Raiders is a smaller stadium, like especially compared to SoFi. SoFi is like 100,000. I think the Raiders is only like 60 or something.
But compare seat comfortability.
But the issue is, you've never been to Allegiant, so shut up.
I'm talking about you.
I haven't been to Allegiant.
I thought you have.
Oh yeah, I have. Huh?
Fuck you. Shut up.
I didn't sit in the seats though. I sat in the press box. But yeah.
So how was the press box seat?
I haven't been to the SoFi press box, but this press box in Allegiant was nice. Nice as fuck.
Well, you were looking at the seats below you.
Anyways, point I'm trying to make is a Raiders ticket is like, the average cost is like almost double that of the Rams. So I think the commies saw that premium and just basically were like, well, let's do that because we can get more average ticket price. And then if we move even farther out the city into Virginia, you know, we can get some of that old rich white money.
And it'll be a perfect cover since the feds are looking into us for tax evasion. We can just say we're using funds for a new stadium. You're not slick. Shout out to Phil Jones.
Yeah, weird. And then one more. The NFL renewed their grants in the, what's it called? $6.5 million for nonprofits in the Inspired Change social justice initiative. So, yeah, they spent all that money that they broke off with Malcolm Jenkins, and now they've added another $6.5 million to that fund. So, touchdown or turnover.
Yeah, race relations are even worse in this country. He gets rich when they have a fucking 50c3.
Well, not just that, but I mean, what's $6 million to their tens of billions?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like
that's
I find it weird.
That's
activists
like
can get rich and retired. That pisses me off. I don't think activists should be allowed to get rich and retire.
There's a skinnier variant of you that probably did that.
Yeah, there definitely is. They're evil versions of me. I'm like the one that keeps the
But
other.
they had to struggle for like a solid 5 years, worse than you did, even worse than you did.
But they sold their souls, so it's like, when was the last time you saw?
It's all going to even out. It's all going to be equal.
When was the last time you saw Tamika Mallory? Cadillac commercial. That's the last time I saw her.
Damn.
The chick from Black Lives Matter is getting hounded because she ripped off a fuck ton of millions of dollars. She has $1 million mansion. She was not a millionaire before Black Lives Matter. I have an issue with activists getting rich off the struggle.
That was the whole thing, right?
Guess what? Malcolm X died broke. Fucking MLK died broke. And they all died way before their time.
But wasn't that the whole thing, too? It was like Black Lives Matter is not a thing. It's like a movement. And then
it's some shit that a white dude put money behind. And then
it like became a thing. And then it was
they got
like,
$90 million. Where'd the money go? Where'd the money go?
Knew.
Not one building. Nobody got bailed out of jail. All those people who were murdered, who took part in the Ferguson protests, like Darren Seals. How you get murdered in broad daylight in front of everybody and nobody saw shit? And your car gets set on fire. You got shot in the head and your car got set on fire. In broad daylight, nobody saw fuck all.
Which, by the way, the new X documentary that dropped on Hulu is actually by one of the original like documentarists of the Ferguson and Malcolm Brown.
Yeah, this cat's still in jail behind that shit right now. See, what they don't tell you is a lot of people get arrested and they throw you away and forget about you. Khalif Browder killed himself for a reason. He was not even supposed to be in Rikers. So I'm saying, like, this shit.
A kid.
Yeah. This shit is a problem. And I don't like seeing people get rich off social justice issues and then they fucking disappear and you live in a gated community and the rest of us are out here starving.
Right.
I don't like that shit. There shouldn't be a fund where you can just, a slush fund where you can pimp the struggles of your people and then you go away with money and resources and we see you on TV, but there's still broke kids in your neighborhood. There's still parks that need to be fixed in your neighborhood. You got all this fucking money. It don't cost that much money to build up a park in your neighborhood. It doesn't cost that much money to get all these motherfuckers out here with master's degrees, jobless, in fucking in social work and all this other shit. All these burnt out teachers who are switching careers. You're telling me you can't put money together and get people in a place to look after children? Come on. Like, so when the NFL, they give out this money, there's too many people who aren't going to do shit with the money, and that's my issue. Like, just, like, the one thing I say about Colin Kaepernick, at least I can tangibly see where the fuck the money he got is going. Even if he don't talk to nobody and he still want to be in the NFL. The Know Your Rights camp has been a thing for a while. That's money and time I can measure. Resources I can see are being expended in you. But, you know, sometimes it's the Al Sharpton effect. It's the Jesse Jackson effect. And again, I'm just trying to figure out where the fuck Tamik Mallory is. And a bunch of other people from Black Lives Matter. Where's D-Ray at? That ugly ass vest. Anybody seen him lately? They called him the gay Malcolm X or some shit like that. And now he's just, I haven't seen him, period. He was getting run out of cities. He got ran out of Ferguson a couple times. Because he was coming in there to like distract from the energy. And again, this is video. This is all, you can look up all the dead activists from Ferguson. Pretty sure they died broke. Pretty sure they didn't get anybody to pay for their funerals. And if they did, their family probably was fucked up about it. Pretty sure there's still never been, there's a bunch of cold cases with these dead activists from Ferguson. People getting snatched up in LA. People getting snatched up all over. But, you know, let's give money to organizations that actually don't have a history of solving problems. They just have really good PR and really dope commercial spots. So, yeah. That's all I got to say about that shit.
All right, man. So, closing it out with the rants. I'll go ahead and go first. Been another crazy, draining week, but looking forward to another day off tomorrow. Hopefully, we can get some errands done. Get some things off my to-do list outside of work. And outside of that, man, if you haven't already watched the X documentary, I recommend it. I still can't really figure out like if I liked it or not, but I definitely watched it. And journalistically, like they definitely interviewed like 90% of the key players, from his family to his agent to his collaborators, friends, victims, etc. So it was a really well done flick. Reason why it was played at South by Southwest and some other film festivals. I think, as I mentioned before, one of the documentarists, they directed this award-winning film on Malcolm Brown on the Ferguson protest, and basically they were talking about kind of making this documentary and about how they initially like listened to X, but then learned more about his reputation, and then distanced themselves from him, and then when everything happened, refamiliarized themselves, and then they understood that there was a lot of rumors and talk about how X was kind of changing, and like they didn't want that to be the story. Like they didn't want it to be a sort of PR thing. But as they were asking and interviewing people, they kept an open mind, and that's something that kept coming up in different ways from different people in different parts of his life. And so it's really just sad to see somebody go at 20 years old before they really kind of see the other side of that, because I think he even talked about it. Like, he was 6 years old watching his mom get beat and, biting people's stomach and getting flesh because, like, he was a 6 year old and that's the only way he knew how to fight. Like, and then from there, growing up with a single mother who's, young, it's like they were more like friends than anything else. And ultimately, like, he had to leave her house because they would literally just fight. They would literally just throw blows at each other. And so that's ultimately how he ended up in juvie. That's ultimately how he ended up being ski. That's where kind of they started recording music, fucking around. And the whole distorted sound, like the whole punk rock rap thing that they kind of came up on SoundCloud, that was really just because they had a shitty podcast mic. Like, they just were really cutting music on that same blue Blue Moon mic. That's like the cheapest mic you can get, and it made all their shit sound distorted. And they just kind of used that to their advantage and created a sound off of it. Then he kind of flipped the pivot, wanted to be more positive. Like, his camp was just telling him, like, hey, you got all this reach, but, like, what's your message? Like, what are you doing? He was diagnosed bipolar, tried some meds, made him uncreative, made him sleepy, made him not sleep at the same time. So it just really fucked with his head, and eventually got off of it. And that's kind of what he was doing when he ultimately got killed. He was just kind of like impulse buying shit to, like, cope. I think they said at one point he was like buying a motorcycle like every single week just because, like, that's what made him feel good. And they would just be like, at one point they're like, all right, well, at least he's not hitting anyone, so, like, let's just let this keep going. And just, like, I don't know. So it was different to me, and I don't know how true it is because I'm not in those rooms, but I think to me the biggest thing from that documentary to, like, the Cuddy and the Juice World documentary is, like, what I saw with that is, like, he was literally in the middle of his sort of, like, change and seeing the other side of the darkness, and it sucks that he never got there. And, like, he never had been musically trained. He didn't even finish school. So it's like he literally just taught everything from himself. And ultimately, he ended up signing a deal that was just like a distribution deal. He turned down like a $10 million deal that was for a set amount of albums, and was just like, and they asked him, why would you do that for a $100K distribution deal? And he said at 19 years old, like, in jail, like, because your deal makes me a partner and their deal makes me a slave. And, like, just even when he came out of jail and that whole Drake beef, and, like, he checked his Instagram when he got out of jail, and, like, you could just see, like, he really didn't even know that people were fucking with him like that. And he was just like, these are all for me. Like, I don't know. I just felt like with X, like, it was a lot less calculated, but also, like, a lot less, like, enabled. Like, it was like the perfect combination of, like, fuckboy internet shit and, like, creativity and, like, ruthless, like, adolescent aggression and, like, trying to be positive and be different at the same time. Like, I don't know. Just watch it. It's crazy. Because I think with Juice, it's like, with Juice, you see where it's going. Like, you see how he's being enabled. You see how, like, all these people around him, like, know he's fucked up. And they just don't know how fucked up he is because he's doing drugs when he's happy. He's doing drugs when he's sad. He's doing, like, just doing a lot. And he was just overworking himself and just coping with drugs. With X, it's like, I mean, there was some of that, but it was more of just like, this is just a man who's, like, built, who's been raised in the shadows and, like, is trying to figure it out, but it's still his own worst enemy. So definitely interesting flick and worth an hour and a half or whatever screen time. But yeah, that's about it for me from this week.
Oh, this week I kind of like assess like where my mental health is. It's like I just been kind of. I'd say I've been on a wave for like the past couple months. I don't really know how to define it. Like once I left my other job for my new job, paid more money, closer to home. Kind of made a couple impulse buys for myself. Was the gym membership. Paid like 300 down for like a whole year, and just kind of like navigating what I want that to look like. It's like fixed one aspect of my life. So now I just have to hold myself accountable and keep going every day. So I'm kind of working on other aspects of my life to kind of like reassess and fix. And sometimes I have to hear from other people because for me, like I'm just never satisfied with things that I do. So I could be like, damn, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. I need to change kind of this. I should be doing better. I could be doing better. And my mom, we had a talk, and she was like, "You're not failing. I don't know why you think sometimes you think you're failing. You're not. Nobody's exactly where they want to be. That's rare that you find that you're exactly where you want to be. Doing okay for where you're at. You're doing the best you can. So when I think about that and just how this year's kind of unfolded, sometimes I personally have to kind of just slow down and be like, you're doing okay. It's not as bad as you think it is. Sometimes like I have to remind myself I put extras on my own bullshit and give myself like timetables and expectations that don't really need to be put there. So I'm kind of working on understanding why I do that and where that came from. Mostly just been a week of self-reflection. I'll be back in the gym tomorrow. I took a couple of days off. Had to run some errands. Shout out to my dry cleaner. Like, yeah, like, hug your loved ones. Tell them you care about them. Let them know you care about them. Don't take life too serious. It's officially summer. Be safe out here. They shooting up schools and shit, and apparently the president's just not gonna do anything about it. Um, protect these kids, especially even kids in your neighborhood on your block that you see every day. Like if somebody's doing something to a kid, that is your responsibility, especially if you know about it. Like to kind of go back to like being a community that looks out for children, even if it's not your kid. Like that's one thing that from when I was growing up, I remember still existed. But I guess like things are kind of more disassociated now than ever. But yeah, man, like look out for your fellow human. Doesn't take much. That Cat Williams special is hilarious, and Cat Williams is really one of the greatest comedians ever because
didn't he say something controversial?
A couple things. He was like, "Man, leave Joe Biden alone. He's 93 years old."
No, but I mean before that, like
Yeah, he did a couple things.
yeah.
But he said some cold shit in the special. He was like, "Think about it. Water exists. You shit every day. It's a part of your life. You can't live without it. But you can't create it. We know exactly what goes in the water, and we cannot recreate water." Think about that. you can't go to a lab right now and make water.
So what does that mean?
It means some of the most crucial things in life that we use, that we need, that we depend on, that we abuse, are things that are either of God or just of nature. And you kind of got to pick. You got to balance it out.
Racial takes are from God? Is that the point that you're making?
No, I want to talk about that shit. Hey, man, you take the good and the bad with some people. You can't live and die on every word somebody says.
I don't know. You weren't fucking with Cat Williams for like a solid 5 years. I'm just saying.
No, I was always fucking with Cat Williams. It's just he was doing wild shit out here, getting beat up by 12-year-olds and shit. Like, he's a different person now. It might be the same. He's a little more seasoned, but it's just like the dichotomy. He said, how the fuck you pick a side when both sides are stupid? And it just made me laugh. And I think about it like Alameda. They started up the whole mask. They're bringing back mask mandates. I think about all the shit that's going on, like Kendrick's concert tickets way too fucking high. By the way, this is what I really want to say. Ticketmaster is taxation without representation, and that's a form of white supremacy, and I'm not okay with it. I'm seriously tired of these fucking third-party sites charging for tickets and then fucking holding me ransom, pretty much putting a fucking shotgun in my balls, charging me another $85 for a fucking processing fee. For real, bro? For real? These processing fees are too fucking high, and I'm sick of it.
Worst. Even when you buy one from somebody who's already bought one, they charge the seller 10% too. So let's make 20% just off.
Taxation without representation is illegal. And I'm not okay with it. That's why I don't mind ticket scalpers, because a lot of these websites, it's some bullshit. That's why I'm like, I even like. And this goes to our title from a couple weeks ago. Buying concert tickets. I might buy a ticket to a football game or get credentials to a football game, but I'm not buying concert tickets really the rest of this year because the shit is too high. And I'm sorry, but I wasn't going to the Novo to listen to Pusha T's new album. Sorry, I already got it. I don't need to go to the Novo to listen to it, even though the pizza spot there is really dope. It just wasn't worth me sitting through 3 hours when I only fuck with like 2 songs.
But that's your favorite rapper.
One of my favorites, but this
I've seen Wale at the Novo, so you definitely can't.
I've been to the Novo 1,000 times.
You have not been there 1,000 times.
I've been to the Novo a lot.
I'm just saying.
I was at the Novo for the Rory and Maul podcast. First off,
the point that I'm making is
Immortal Technique at the Novo.
You should support your favorite artist.
I mean, it was either that or have money to go to work. But also, they added another show, so he's not hurting. But I'm just like, I want to really see Pusha T in concert off this album. If like this was King Push, like I'll go see the Black Keys in concert right now. This new album, Dropout Boogie, is fire. It didn't feel like they were trying to be like the old album. Felt like it was just kind of free-flowing messaging, and like some of the songs, like the theme, I get it, Dropout Boogie, it's kind of dope. It's like an everyman, kind of like an everyday average
Can
Joe.
we wrap up this 2-hour show?
Yeah, pretty much. Bottom line is, fuck you, Ticketmaster, and everybody else who's robbing people with these fucking processing fees. Shit is taxation without representation. Shit has me upset. More upset than following dessert with dessert.
Well, shout out to your favorite podcast app where you can find this. You can also find us on touchdownsandtangents.com. Shout out to X Squad affiliates. Shout out to FPC Radios. Shout out to all the people that fuck with us. Hopefully get some guests in here next week. But yeah, thanks for rocking with us. Have a good week. Peace.
Are you tired of the same old sports media? Are you tired of hot takes, arguments, and questions that are just completely off base?
Luckily, we we have something for you. Touchdowns and tangents of the people, for the people, by people who care about the culture and all concise commentary.